How would you describe your experience of playing in this rivalry game overall?
Right now, a little upset. It's I'm not a very grateful winner. I'm a very sore loser, as I should say. I'm gonna take this 12 hours, digest it, watch the film over again, probably 3 times on the way home, figure out how I can be better. But looking down the road, this is a game that I'll tell my kid about. This was an unbelievable environment. Hats off to Missouri and their fans. They showed up, and their defense came to play, and we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. So we got to get back to the drawing board.
Do you think that's consistent with everybody's kind of mindset in there, just the emotion you talked about there?
Absolutely. In that locker room, I'll say this: it's not your same KU team that from the past. We got a lot of competitors, a lot of dogs in that locker room that we're ready to get back in on Monday and figure out what went wrong and fix it immediately. And we're ready to attack the Big 12 schedule because I think that we have a special team in that locker room. They believe that we have a special team in that locker room, and we just got to show it.
DeShawn, for you guys offensively, I know you want to watch the tape, but first reaction, what do you feel like you learned about yourself as a unit offensively?
As ourselves, we tend to put ourselves in bad positions right out of the gate, but we're the most resilient bunch there is. There's not a task that we wouldn't want to see. Whether it's a sudden change from the defense or backed up inside our 5, we embrace it. We, as I like to say, to the tight ends, we like to live in hell. We like the challenges, because without the challenges, it's easy, and we don't like easy here.
3 and out to start the game, and then next thing you know, you guys are up 21-6 and rolling. What's the feeling over there, sideline, and with that kind of momentum on your side?
It's huge. But we talked about it at the beginning of the game. Momentum was going to swing. We capitalized early on momentum, and they're a great team, and they struck back, and it just was a back and forth game. And but early on, it was huge for us. It was huge for confidence. Let some of the guys, the younger guys, know that, hey, you do belong on this field. So that was huge for them.
DeShawn, of course, the loss sours a little bit, but you've talked a lot this week about what this game means to you. What does it mean to put on a performance like you did today and score a pair of touchdowns?
To be honest, I'd give away those 2 touchdowns for a win. I could care less about individual stats. I got to do a better job in getting my room ready to play. I got to do a better job in getting the offense ready to play. And Jalen is a hell of a quarterback, as you guys have seen throughout the years. And we as a unit have to do more to give him time to be that special guy. And I'm going to take a big responsibility on that. My pass blocking wasn't the greatest today. My chips weren't the best, so I'm going to take big pride in that coming up, just to keep him on his feet so he can do what he's here to do. So I'm going to take a lot of that on myself personally.
How do you approach a bye week, especially it's the first of 3, and they kind of are evenly spaced through the year, so you get a few chances to evaluate where you guys are at?
It's, as I like to call it, it's a look in the mirror week. We've played 3 games. We played, 2 great games on offense, and 1 kind of lackluster game, where we're kind of up and down. So we need to be more consistent as a unit. But we need to look in the mirror, and we need to come in on Monday morning and accept every coaching there is, whether it's good or bad. This staff is unbelievable. They know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing, and it's on us at the end of the day. It's not on anyone else. And we got to come in ready to learn and get better, and have that type of mindset instead of being defensive.
So Sean, getting back to the rivalry part of this thing, students are filled the stadium while you guys are warming up and stuff. I know you have headphones on, but I heard one guy yell at you, DeShawn, do you even play? I think you answered that. Do you hear that stuff? Does it do anything pregame for you, or do you not even hear it?
No, to be honest, I love it. And I heard him. Yeah. I had my headphone on. I heard him. And to be honest, I wouldn't want it any other way. To be honest, if he didn't know my name, then obviously I didn't play, but he knew my name, so it is what it is. They won, so he can be happy. They got the win.
Anything else for DeShawn? All right, thanks everyone.